Well, we're here at KingCast.net, Motorsports and Courts. Now, before we get to the feature presentation, what you're seeing there is the Cody Eller jury view exclusive footage from KingCast. Before we get there, let's look back for a minute on some of the other gaffes that New Hampshire law enforcement has been involved in with Kelly Ayotte as the former Attorney General. Now, as an Assistant Attorney General, I find her actions abysmal. So let's start with the Michael Paulhus case out of Nashua, where there was no punishment for these police officers who violated his Miranda warnings and Miranda rights, shot him, and there was a settlement, but they got away scot-free. Then we come to the more recent case in Franconia, where this maniac, Greg Floyd, shot, killed, and in my opinion murdered Lee Kilkenny after Lee Kilkenny had shot an abusive, threatening police officer. There was a windshield bullet that proved that Greg Floyd had started firing initially, but Kelly Ayotte did nothing about that and ignored it. Then you can see later on, of course, Greg Floyd goes to attack me and other people there in the hallway before he was forcibly restrained and arrested. For what? For threatening his neighbor with a gun. Okay? But we're not done yet, because now Greg Floyd's son, who was at the shooting scene, he's impersonating the brother of an actress. Take a look at that. Yeah, so while pretending to be a DJ named Greg MacGyver, okay, he's saying that he is Karen David's, well, not brother-in-law, but that he's dating a guy named Justin David, who is Karen David's brother. Well, the problem is, she didn't have a brother. No such thing existed. So I get an innocent guy who's brought Mr. Floyd into their family with people around him, and they are suspicious of him, and they don't trust him, and they think that he may be dangerous. And I responded by saying, well, he and his father are both liars and thieves. And his father is definitely violent for more reasons than I'll go into right now. And these are all things that Kelly Ayotte hid as AG. Okay, that's insane. Now, back to this current issue with Cody Eller, the young man you see there. Eugene Stahl is being sworn in, the officer who was responsible for convicting him. And there's the victim, William Hawksley, who was struck on his motorcycle. In any event, yes, folks, as I predicted, this case has been overturned. The verdict has been set aside, and a new trial could be ordered. I'm not sure exactly where it goes from here. I called the prosecutor's office yesterday to speak to Kent Smith. I have not heard anything back. The deal is that Mr. Stahl, Officer Stahl, is basically exculpatory evidence in and of himself because he's on the Lori list. All right? He's on there because of some type of dishonesty or something in his background is significant enough that the prosecution should have provided that information to the defense lawyer, because his defense was based on, the prosecution was based on this officer. So the defense had a right to cross-examine him, to run the trial differently. This is huge. And there's Kent Smith there making his point at closing argument. But in any event, I was the only journalist to really cover this thing all the way through. Certainly the only motorcyclist to have done so. And I'll continue to be that way. Now, us motorcyclists cannot be mad at Cody Eller. Okay, we have to be mad at the system that allowed this to happen in this conviction, because there's substantial doubt as to what really happened out there, if only because the state was not forthright with respect to Eugene Stahl. And when the court ordered them to produce the evidence and the information from Eugene Stahl, it never happened. They didn't produce the right quantum of materials, and they had to go back again. So the judge finally said no. One judge actually stood up to law enforcement and said, no, I've had enough of your shit. This is the way it's going to go. All right? And I applaud her for that. But on the back end, she did not unseal the files. And so I'm going to be moving to the Supreme Court for that, because if it's significant enough to set aside a verdict, then the public needs to know what's going on in the first place, ab initio. Now, my point is that the Lori list is not really a part of the personnel file. My point is that the Lori list exists separate from a personnel file and then is inserted into a personnel file. But the whole purpose of the Lori list is to protect the public, okay, from officers who have severe issues in their background that may be exculpatory in nature. So if that's the case, why are we hiding what's in this Lori list? KingCast.net, going to the Supreme Court on this one too. Have a great day.